2020 జేఈఈ మెయిన్ ఫలితాలలో ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ విద్యార్థుల ప్రభంజనం. ఆల్ ఇండియా అన్ని కేటగిరీస్లు 18, 35, 251, 253, 582, 606, 778, 780, 812, 821, 1031, 1049, 1303, 1575, 1654, 1753, 1754, 1978 ర్యాంకులే కాక మరెన్నో ఉత్తమ ఫలితాలు సాధించిన విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్. ఈ ఫలితాలు సాధించడానికి కారణమైన లెక్చరర్లు మరియు తల్లిదండ్రులకు మా కృతజ్ఞతలు. ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషనల్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్.
Let us apply the yesterday's concept. So let us consider reaction N2 gas plus 3H2 gas equilibrium 2NH3. So it's Kp. Let us assume Kp, equilibrium constant as Kp. So let us consider this reaction NH3 gas equilibrium half N2 gas 3/2 H2 gas. Let us assume its equilibrium constant as K dash P. K dash P. Now let us find the relation between Kp and K dash P. So what I have done, I have reversed the reaction. At the same time, I have reduced the concentration to half, or I have multiplied with half. After reversing, along with reversing, I have multiplied with half. So let us apply the definition. What is Kp? Equilibrium partial pressures of products by reactants. All are gases, so you have to consider the partial pressure of all the components. Here it is partial pressure of ammonia, equilibrium partial pressure of ammonia, 2 moles are there, so write square, by equilibrium partial pressure of reactant, that is partial pressure of nitrogen 1 mole, so no need to write here. Partial pressure of hydrogen, that is 3 moles. Same thing I will write for K dash P here. So K dash P equal to partial pressure of nitrogen power half, partial pressure of hydrogen power 3/2 by partial pressure of ammonia. Partial pressure of ammonia. We have to find the relation between these two. So what I will do here is, first I will reverse it. Just have taken the numerator to the denominator. Then to write in this form, I have to take half common. I will take half common. So if I take half common, nothing is there, therefore I have to write 2 by N2 to the power half. 2 into half 1, 1 into half half, 3 into half 3/2. Now see, whatever that is inside this bracket, is nothing but Kp. So what I can write here, 1 by Kp whole power half, or K dash P equal to 1 by root over Kp. Reaction quotient, it is represented with the letter Q. So let us consider a reaction. A plus B gives C plus D at equilibrium, right? Let us consider this reaction A plus B in equilibrium with C plus D. What is reaction quotient? It is represented as Q. It is simply Q equal to concentration of products by concentration of reactants at any time, say at any time t. Now how it is different from Kc, or equilibrium constant? How it is different? Equilibrium constant means you have to consider the concentrations at equilibrium only, not at any time. That is the difference. So they are equilibrium concentrations. So at a particular time called equilibrium. See the difference. So it is simply the ratio of product of concentration of products to that of product of concentration of reactants at any time t. But equilibrium constant means it is a ratio of equilibrium concentration of products to that of reactants. So they are different. Q may be equal to K provided that time t is at equilibrium time. So what information we can gather? Suppose let us assume if Q is less than equilibrium constant for a reaction. How can I represent this? So this is Q. So this is Q, this is equilibrium constant. For a reaction, this is equilibrium constant value, this is Q value at a time t. This is at equilibrium, this is at time t. So you can clearly say that Q is less than equilibrium constant. So what can I conclude? Since Q is less than K equilibrium, so in order to make them equal, Q value must be increased. This is possible if the reaction moves in forward direction. So in this case, if Q is less than K equilibrium means the reaction has not attained equilibrium. So it is in its initial stage, right? So for the reaction to attain equilibrium, the reaction has to move in forward direction. Suppose Q equal to equilibrium constant. Say this is Q, this is equilibrium. That means the reaction quotient is equal to equilibrium constant. That means the reaction has attained equilibrium. Other possibility, Q value greater than K. So the reaction has crossed the equilibrium stage. To come back equilibrium, Q value has to decrease. This is possible if the reaction moves in backward direction, right? If the numerator increases, then Q value increases. If denominator increases, then Q value decreases. Q is proportional to concentration of products by reactants. So if Q is less, then Q can be increased by increasing concentration of products and decreasing the concentration of reactants. This is done if reaction moves in forward direction. If Q is more, then concentration of products has to be decreased in order to make them equal. So its value must be decreased. That is possible by decreasing the products and increasing the concentration of reactants. To increase the concentration of reactants, the reaction has to move in backward direction. So in this case, forward, the reaction is proceeding in forward direction, reaction is at equilibrium, the reaction has to move in backward direction. So next, relation between equilibrium constant and delta G. So you are studying first time about delta G. So first let us see what is G. G is called as Gibbs free energy. Gibbs free energy is a function of amount, temperature and pressure. It depends upon certain quantities, amount, temperature and pressure. Delta G is called as free energy change. Free energy change or change in free energy. Delta G can be positive, can be 0, can be negative. What does this value signifies? In thermodynamics, delta G plays an important role for any chemical reaction. The reason is by calculating delta G, we can predict whether the reaction is spontaneous or not. I have used a new word called spontaneous. So delta G value is useful to predict the spontaneity. Spontaneous or what is a spontaneous process? A process which takes place on its own without the help of external force. For example, consider flow of river water. Consider flow of river water. River water flows on its own from high level to low level. We don't use any motor pump to allow the flow of river water, right? We don't use, right? If you want to use, you have to use heavy motors like in Kaleshwaram project. So don't consider that one. So consider any natural river flow, right? Water flows from high level to low level on its own. We don't use any external force. Consider other example, consider pumping water from ground floor to the top floor, to the tank on the top floor. Does water flow on its own from ground floor to the top floor? The answer is no. You have to use external force, right? You have to run the motor by using current. Then only you can pump water from ground floor to the top floor. What is the difference? If you see the flow of river water, which is a natural process, it takes place on its own. It is a spontaneous process, a process which takes place on its own without the help of external force. We call it as spontaneous. In the second case, the water flows only when you run the motor with the help of electricity. If you don't run the motor with the help of electricity, water cannot flow on its own from bottom, from the ground floor to top floor. So here this external force is nothing but motor running with the help of electricity. If that doesn't work, then you cannot pump the water from ground floor to the top floor. It becomes a non-spontaneous process because it takes place with the help of external force. So what is a spontaneous process? A process that takes place on its own without any external help. We call it as spontaneous process. What is a non-spontaneous process? A process which takes place in the presence of external force, with the help of external force. We call it as non-spontaneous process. So when you do a process, we don't know whether it is spontaneous or not. So we can calculate it, we can estimate that whether the process is spontaneous or not by calculating delta G value for that process. So when you calculate it, there are three possible values: positive, negative, 0. So if delta G is negative, less than 0 or negative, then the process is said to be spontaneous. Then the process is said to be spontaneous. Now, what is our process? We are considering a equilibrium reaction which takes place in both directions. For this reaction, if delta G is negative, then the process is spontaneous. That means the reaction proceeds in forward direction. Reaction proceeds in forward direction. For this reaction, if delta G is negative, then reaction proceeds in forward direction. It is spontaneous, means forward reaction is spontaneous. If delta G greater than 0 or positive, then the process is said to be non-spontaneous. So for a reversible reaction, if I apply the concept, for this reaction delta G is positive. That means forward reaction is non-spontaneous. If forward is non-spontaneous, backward becomes spontaneous. So for reversible reaction, if delta G is positive, then reaction proceeds, then reaction becomes spontaneous in backward direction. Then reaction proceeds in backward direction, because it is spontaneous in backward direction. So how do you find delta G for a reaction? Simply delta G equal to sum of free energy of products minus sum of free energy of reactants. A spontaneous process is associated with decrease in delta G, that is delta G must be negative, that is the driving force. Why free energy has to decrease? Any system wants to decrease its energy to get the stability. A system is said to be stable if it possesses less energy. If it can decrease its energy, then it will try to decrease and get that extra stability. So, a process if it is associated with a decrease in energy, what is that energy we are measuring here? Free energy, then the process can be spontaneous. More negative means more spontaneous it will be. So, how we will find delta G? Free energy of products minus free energy of reactants. If for a reaction, if free energy of product is less than free energy of reactants, that means in this process the free energy of system is decreasing, therefore it is spontaneous. If it is spontaneous, that means it proceeds in forward direction because products have less energy compared to reactants. Here products have more energy than reactants, that means from less energy state to more energy state is moving. That means it moves from more stable state to less stable, it is non-spontaneous. So, in that case the reaction becomes spontaneous in reverse direction. The reaction becomes spontaneous in reverse direction. If you want to carry out reaction in forward direction, you have to use external force. It can be increase in temperature, increase in pressure, etc. If delta G is 0, there is no free energy difference. Free energy of products equal to free energy of reactants, there is no driving force, then it remains at equilibrium. Then the process is at equilibrium. So, delta G is calculated by this equation. Where delta G is free energy change nothing but sum of free energy of products minus sum of free energy of reactants. Delta G naught. So, whenever you come across with this naught means it indicates that under standard conditions. In thermodynamics, the standard conditions, standard temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, standard pressure is 1 bar or 1 atmosphere. We generally take 1 atmosphere, but actually it is mentioned as 1 bar. So, standard temperature is 25 degrees. In gaseous state, standard temperature is 0 degrees Celsius, but in thermodynamics where you deal with solids and liquids, it should be 25 degrees Celsius. There in gaseous state it is 0 degrees Celsius. So, this is the difference in standard temperature, right, with respect to the chapters. In gaseous state you have to take 0 degrees Celsius for gases. Here mainly you will come up with solids, liquid solutions. The standard temperature is taken as 25 degrees Celsius, not 0 degree Celsius. So, this is nothing but standard Gibbs free energy change. That means you are maintaining standard conditions. Standard Gibbs free energy change. This is under given condition, this is under standard conditions. So, standard conditions are temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, not 0 degrees Celsius. Pressure usually we take 1 atmosphere. So, delta G also carries same thing, sum of standard free energy of products minus sum of standard free energy of reactants, or universal gas constant T temperature in Kelvin, Q reaction quotient. If the reaction is at equilibrium, what happens? What happens to delta G? At equilibrium, delta G becomes 0 and Q becomes equilibrium constant. It can be Kc or it can be Kp, remember. In general, I am writing K equilibrium. So, if the reaction is at equilibrium, delta G becomes 0 and Q becomes equal to K equilibrium. So, if you take molar concentration Kc, if you take partial pressure, you have to write it as Kp. Substituting this here, delta G is 0, equal to delta G naught. I am assuming the condition that the system is at equilibrium, right? Delta G naught plus RT log equilibrium constant, or delta G naught is minus RT log K equilibrium, or delta G naught, this is log than to the base E minus 2.303 RT log to the base 10 equilibrium constant. Or from here you can write like this. So send this other side, delta G naught minus RT. So equilibrium constant equal to e power minus delta G naught by RT. So all are same. This is logarithm to the base e, natural logarithm, this is logarithm to the base 10. So here three important points once again. If, to understand this you have to know the e power x definition, approximately taken as 1 plus x. E power positive is greater than 1. E power negative is less than 1. E power 0 is 1. So using that conditions here, if delta G naught is 0, here I am substituting, if delta G naught is 0, delta G naught is okay negative, let us say less than 0 or negative. So negative into negative will be positive, this will anyway it is positive, negative into negative is positive, e power positive is greater than 1, then e power minus delta G naught by RT is greater than 1. If this is greater than 1, it implies that K equilibrium should be greater than 1. What is K equilibrium? Kf by Kb. Equilibrium constant of forward reaction by equilibrium constant of backward reaction. So this implies that rate of forward reaction is greater than rate of backward reaction. That means the reaction proceeds more in forward direction than backward direction. Next, if delta G naught is greater than 0 or positive, then so delta G is positive, anyway these two will be positive, positive into negative is negative, positive into negative is negative, e power negative will be less than 1, e power negative is less than 1. This implies if this is less than 1, K equilibrium will be less than 1. According to the definition, what is K equilibrium? Kf by Kb less than 1. That means Rf is less than Rb. That means reaction moves more in backward direction compared to forward direction. If delta G naught is 0, if this is 0, entire thing becomes 0, e power 0 is 1. This implies that K equilibrium equal to 1. That means Rf equals to Rb. Factors affecting equilibrium. Next concept, Lee-Chartier's principle, very important concept, Lee-Chartier's principle. So let us recollect what we have studied. If system is at equilibrium, then the measurable properties like concentration, temperature, pressure, etc., they remain constant with respect to time. So if I consider a reaction which is at equilibrium, the measurable properties will remain constant. It can be order, it can be color, right? Intensity of color, concentration, temperature, pressure, all these measurable properties, they attain constant value. As long as system remains at equilibrium, these variables remain constant, or as long as these variables are kept constant, the system remains at equilibrium. So, what is Le-Chatelier's principle? Suppose if system is disturbed, if some disturbance is caused in the system, if you cause some changes, if you cause some disturbance, then the system will not remain at equilibrium. System will not remain at equilibrium, but it will try to re-establish the equilibrium by shifting the direction of equilibrium in a proper direction which nullifies the effect we are causing. Once again, if I cause some change externally, I am causing some change, I am causing some disturbance, then the system will not be at equilibrium, first point, but it will try to re-establish, it will try to come back to equilibrium. How? It will try to shift the equilibrium either in forward or backward direction, If a system at equilibrium is subjected to a change or disturbance by external force, by some external cause, the system will not remain at equilibrium. It will try to come back to equilibrium by shifting the direction. It will shift the direction either in forward or backward, right? A proper direction which nullifies the effect we are causing. కొద్దిసేపు అది ముందుకో వెనక్కో వెళ్తుంది, right? ఎంతసేపు? Till the effect we are causing is nullified, right? So, that is nothing but explained by Le-Chatelier's principle. How can you cause the disturbance? I can change the temperature, I can change the pressure, I can change the concentration of a component, I can add some catalyst, some inert gas. These are the different ways I can cause changes or I can cause disturbance in a system that is at equilibrium. So, let us see one by one. First, effect of temperature on equilibrium. Effect of temperature. First, to understand the effect of temperature, we have to study the meaning of exothermic reaction and endothermic reaction. What is an exothermic reaction? A reaction which proceeds with release of heat. A reaction which proceeds with the release of heat. So, you can write like this: reactants are converted into products plus heat energy is released. Or say that heat released is some 10 calories, or you can write like this: delta H, change in enthalpy, right, minus 10 calories. So, all these represent the same thing, an exothermic reaction. So, what is exothermic reaction? A reaction which it proceeds, which it takes place with the release of heat, with the release of heat. The best example is when you burn some crackers, right? When you burn some crackers, energy will be released, heat energy will be released, right? They are called as exothermic reaction. So, if exothermic reaction takes place, since heat energy is released, temperature of system increases. So, it increases temperature of the system. Next, endothermic reactions. A reaction which takes place with absorption of heat. So, reactants are heated to give products, or reactant gives products minus heat. Say that heat is some 10 calories you are supplied, or you can write like this: delta H is positive. So, all these they represent the same thing, that is endothermic reaction. So, do not worry about delta H. Right, how we are writing positive and negative, that we will study in thermochemistry, thermodynamics topic, right. So, for the timing, just remember that endothermic reaction, a reaction which takes place with absorption of heat. If it absorbs the heat, right, temperature of the system decreases. So, exothermic reaction, temperature of system increases, endothermic reaction, temperature of system decreases. So, but we are studying reversible reaction. We are studying reversible reaction. Suppose if I consider this reaction, say delta H negative. Delta H negative means forward reaction. Forward reaction is exothermic. and backward reaction will be endothermic. Or if I write like this, R gives P, say delta H is positive, delta H is positive. In this case, forward reaction is endothermic and backward reaction becomes exothermic. So just remember like this, if forward is exothermic, then backward will be endothermic, or if forward is endothermic, then backward will be exothermic. Exothermic reaction increases the temperature, endothermic reaction decreases the temperature because it proceeds with absorption of energy. Now, effect of temperature. I will consider this system which is at equilibrium. Right? Remember, it can be exothermic, endothermic. We will see at the end. First, we will try to conclude. Say this is the system at equilibrium. I am changing the temperature. How I am changing? Say I am first increasing the temperature. I am heating the system which is at equilibrium. I am heating the system which is at equilibrium. Heating means you will increase the temperature. So when you increase the temperature, what happens? First point, the system do not remain at equilibrium because you are disturbing, you are heating it. So since we are increasing the temperature, the system do not remain at equilibrium, but system will try to re-establish the equilibrium. How? It will proceed for some time in a direction which proceeds with absorption of energy for some time, right? It will proceed in a direction which absorbs energy. Which reaction will absorb energy? Is it exothermic or endothermic? The answer is endothermic. Endothermic reaction proceeds with absorption of energy. So, to a system which is at equilibrium, if I increase the temperature, then equilibrium is shifted. Equilibrium shifts in endothermic reaction direction. Endothermic reaction direction. Why? Because this reaction will absorb energy. So whatever the energy you are supplying, it will be absorbed. Once the heating is, once the temperature becomes normal, again the equilibrium is attained. Right? That means increase in temperature favors endothermic reaction. Suppose if I decrease the temperature to the system which is at equilibrium, I am decreasing the temperature. Then the system will not remain at equilibrium. It will try to re-establish the equilibrium. It will try to re-establish the equilibrium by shifting the equilibrium in a direction which proceeds with release of heat. Since we are decreasing the temperature, it will try to increase. How it will increase? It will move in a direction which releases the heat. Which reaction will release the heat? Is it endothermic or exothermic? Answer is exothermic. That means if I decrease the temperature to nullify it, equilibrium shifts in. Equilibrium shifts in exothermic reaction direction. So nullifying is not, if you increase the temperature, it will try to decrease the temperature. How it will try to decrease the temperature? By shifting the equilibrium in endothermic reaction. What is endothermic reaction? A reaction which proceeds with heat. Since it is absorbing heat, the temperature of the system decreases. Therefore, the effect is nullified. Right? If you decrease the temperature, the equilibrium will be shifted in a direction which proceeds with the release of heat. If it releases the heat, temperature will be increased. By that, it will nullify the effect we are causing. Again, the equilibrium can be established. So, increase in temperature favors endothermic reaction, decrease in temperature favors exothermic reaction. Let us come back to this. Let us apply to the example, known examples. So let us take this reaction R in equilibrium with P delta H negative. Now by seeing this, first you have to know that if delta H is negative, forward reaction is exo, backward reaction is endo. I am applying both the cases. Case 1, if I increase temperature, if temperature is increased, I am increasing the temperature. Increase in temperature favors which reaction? Endothermic. Which is endothermic? Is it forward or backward? Right? Backward reaction is endothermic. Therefore, if temperature is increased for this equilibrium, then equilibrium shifts in backward direction. Equilibrium shifts in backward. Why backward? Because backward is endothermic. Or if temperature is decreased, if temperature is decreased, which reaction is favored? Exothermic reaction. For this reaction, what is exothermic? Forward reaction is exothermic. So if temperature is decreased, equilibrium shifts in forward direction. Let us take the other example, that is R equilibrium P delta H is positive. So see, if delta H is positive, what we can assume? If delta H is positive, that means forward is endothermic, backward is exothermic. Forward is endothermic, backward is exothermic, right? For this system, if I increase, if temperature is increased, increase in temperature favors which reaction? Endothermic reaction. Which is endothermic? Delta H positive, therefore forward is endothermic. So equilibrium shifts in, for this reaction, equilibrium shifts in forward direction because it is endothermic. Next, if temperature is decreased, decrease in temperature favors which reaction? Exothermic. For this reaction, what is exothermic reaction? Backward. Therefore, decrease in temperature, equilibrium shifts in backward direction. Backward direction. FW forward, BW backward.
ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి, జేఈఈ అయినా, నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.